If you're thinking about getting long yen, you've immediately got to put your currency trader hat on, regardless of whether you're trading this via the dollar yen, the FXY, the yen futures. You know, however it is you're trading it, you are trading a currency pair. And in those three instances, you're trading dollar versus yen, right? Now, one thing that's interesting about the yen narrative is that even though the markets are heading higher, this is a little interesting where yen strength persists. Now remember, yen strength isn't just about whether or not the US equities markets are higher. Yen strength is also going to be part and parcel with whether or not we see global equities. And global equities are not doing so well. And there's volatility and there's weakness, especially when you look at Europe. And again, the slowdown in China is something that we're seeing being talked about a whole lot more. So assessing whether or not there's risk appetite or risk aversion isn't just a US thing when it comes to yen, it's a global thing. And for the reasons of volatility and for the reasons of weakness in global markets, I think we're seeing very persistent yen strength. So there's a few places you can look to rank currencies. My favorite is to head on over to Finviz, FINVIZ.com. It's a perfect place to understand currency relative performance. And if you click on this Forex right here and then click on performance, you can get a 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, month to date, etc. in a relative performance. And if you look out a month, there's your yen. You look out month to date, Canadian dollars had a heck of a surge, but look out 1 month, look out quarter, and there you go. Yen has persisted over the last 1 to 3 months in being the relative performance leader, which again, when you think about what's happened most certainly since the end of December and definitely since January 4th, it's interesting to me to see the bounce in equities that we've seen since the Powell put, and still the yen very, very strong, which tells me if the markets were to roll over, right? Let's say they persist higher, yen seems to be strong, but if the markets roll over, yen will become even stronger. So I think there's a really, it's a really smart bet, literally. They call Forex trades bets, by the way, but it's a pretty good bet to bet on long yen. So then it's the second part. One of the things that we want to remember is if we're going to buy yen via the ETF, there's probably not a lot of choice via the ETF because it's always going to be dollar yen. There's no flexibility on that, right? It's always going to be the US dollar versus Japanese yen. Well, if the yen, the franc, and the US dollar are generally some of the stronger currencies, I would rather buy yen against something else, right? And that's where, for example, as early as yesterday, as recently as yesterday, we have a Canadian dollar, Japanese yen short, because Canadian dollar is a great short and Japanese yen is a great buy. And the market structure here really supports a downtrend, as does, by the way, the market structure on dollar yen. The dollar yen short's probably kicking in right around 109.20, 109, right around the 109 handle, right in there. All right. The more conservative entry would start just in front of 110 at about 109.90. But you can see we've reached the conservative level on Canadian dollar, Japanese yen. Well, what about euro yen? A lot of you know that I'm very, very bearish, not just on the euro, but on the entire European economy, which arguably is either on the edge or has entered a recession. Okay? Very easy to want to short that part of the world and certainly be short the currency. Again, here comes the yen. And notice where we can get short. I like the idea of shorting a euro bounce to about the 125 to 125.20 level, all the way up to 125.5, right? So short euro, buy yen. Where else does this look really good? Well, a lot of folks have been asking me, Rog, how do we play the pound? I would not play the pound US. Not a lot of structure here, and too much opportunity for pound strength to overpower kind of a flat to slightly weak US dollar at the moment. But if you're looking to short pound, which by the way, we'll talk about more in the premium video, I do not actually advocate a lot of aggressive shorts in the pound. In fact, there's a pretty good chance moving forward, gang, that we could see the pound hang out with the likes of the yen and the franc, maybe even, as it has been the last few days, stronger than the US dollar, right? And just kind of the punchline there, the longer it takes for the UK, without, you know, the political process within the UK to get to Brexit, the softer it is going to be. Not a hard Brexit. Hard Brexit requires a mandate. Hard Brexit requires a certain cooperation within the House of Commons that we're just not seeing, right? The longer it takes, the longer it takes Theresa May to get this through, the softer, if not maybe, gosh, no Brexit at all. That's kind of what the pound's rallying on. So please don't be too aggressive on pound weakness. I think there was a window for some pound weakness with the vote. You know, that was a very specific timed event driven entry. But now that that's done and she's lost spectacularly, although she's kept her job, long yen seems to be working. But if you're thinking short yen, or sorry, long pound seems to be working. But if you're thinking short pound, this is the only place to do it, by the way. So there's a number of currencies, I think, that continue to show perfect, really nice structure, where you can short Canadian dollars, short New Zealand dollars, short Australian dollar against the yen, short US dollars, short euro against the yen. The structure is darn near perfect. So I think 2019 is going to be a great year for currencies. And currencies can be both traded intraday and end of day, but the volatility can be pretty high, especially as central banks are trying to figure out how they're going to navigate through what's been a pretty tricky Q4 2018 and Q1 2019. But long yen seems to be, for now, the gift that keeps on giving.